In November of 2018, the World Federation of Therapeutic Communities decided to have its 2019 board meeting in Thessaloniki, Greece, in conjunction with the European Federation of Therapeutic Communities biannual conference. The World Federation also wanted to host a training institute and asked Naya Arbiter, Rowdy Yates, Kathleen Yates, and Rod Mullen to be trainers for the two-day institute under the auspices of Aristotle University of Thessaloniki. The institute was held on September 17th and 18th with 60 participants from across Europe, the Middle East, and Australia. The focus of the institute was for participants to have a better understanding of the therapeutic community modality from several perspectives. This series of edited videos captures some of the training provided and some of the interactions of the participants with the trainers. Kathleen Yates, a registered psychotherapist. Kathleen has worked in the UK National Health Service as a top-grade adult psychotherapist since 1990. Prior to this, she worked as a drama therapist with offenders both in and out of prison, as a mental health worker, therapist, in a street-based project for young people with mental health difficulties. She is a dynamically trained psychotherapist who has worked intensively with groups and individuals. Areas of expertise include work with people who have severe early adverse experience, substance dependence problems, persistent depressive illness, and post-traumatic difficulties. Since 2006, she has worked with the Advanced Intervention Services in Dundee, a university-based international service working with patients who suffer from treatment-refractory depression and obsessive-compulsive disorders. She is trained and experienced in eye movement desensitization and reprocessing and mentalization-based interventions.
And let's get started. Now, the first task we have to do today is one that I hope is very simple, but I have a feeling it won't be, is I want you to find a way of getting all these chairs in a circle. The circle is the center of the therapeutic community. We are going to have a circle. It's a miracle. We did it. And then there was lights. And then there was like, my friend, come on in. How can we turn this? It's anxiety making. Some of the anxiety is anticipatory anxiety, that being joy. Some of the anxiety is fear. What's going to happen next? What am I going to be required to do? You're hanging on to your desired and loved objects, your bags, and your notebooks. That's because they're familiar things to you. There's something you can learn from that. As you get frightened, as you get a bit anxious, your thoughts will go to the thing that gives you comfort. Oh, when's the coffee break? When can I get a glass of water? Now, if your primary problem and your primary way of getting comfort is from taking a drug or alcohol or gambling, your primary thought in this situation, I want to get out of here, I want a fix. We have to make it that our circles in our therapeutic communities aren't like that. Our circles are about fixing people, making people feel better, helping them to function properly through interaction with other people. And that's what we're going to try to do today. So you can drop your notebooks, you won't need them for another hour. So put them away. No one will steal them. They don't steal. The paranoid thought always comes with fear. The enemy is out there, they will get me. We rid ourselves of all the bad thoughts we have by imagining an enemy. So here we are, settle down in a circle, because you knew it, didn't you, all along? Because you're not going to stay there in the circle. I know, I will ignore. There are going to be language difficulties. I'm speaking very slowly and very loudly. Sorry about that. But there will be times you don't understand. We'll try and deal with it as that we go along. So if that's your fear, we're going to deal with it. Right, so let's see. What I want you to do first is to get up, move around the room, shake people's hands, and say your name. See how many people's hands you can shake. I have some hand sanitizing wipes, which are available up here for anybody who is afraid of catching some terrible germ. But otherwise, get up and shake hands, and then you will hear an instruction. I'll probably use the chimes, or otherwise I might shout. Oh. Very good. Silence. It's magic. Now, you all know each other's names, so I want you to get yourselves into groups of names that start with the same first letter. Right, you should have done it by now. There may be some people who have nobody who has the same initial letter as they do. Oh, I am sorry for your aloneness.
It's an S. You can join the R's.
Well, what we were going to do now, and remember what we said about at the beginning, latecomers, welcome them. The more the merrier. We need reinforcements. So what you're going to do now is I want to make a line. I want to make a continuum, but I'm not sure if you'll understand that word in various languages, but the word I mean is line, a continuum. I want the A's up that end and the Z's down here. So the alpha and the omega, and the ones on their own. Sit in. This isn't a lie. Who is the omega? You are. What are you? Oh, you're in the middle. Okay. Now the next bit is a bit complicated. Do your best. You are now in a line. The alpha, the A, the omega, the whatever. The T, but you know, it doesn't matter. We'll go with that. Right. The beginning and the end, I want you to somehow or another work out how to make a big circle. So I want that end to move to that end. And this, the squashed middle, will have to move back. A circle. You can do it. Well done. Push the chairs back.
Now you're all holding hands, we're all going to sing the second verse of Old Lang Syne.
Okay. Now, let's get a bit trickier, because I'm going to ask you to go in a bit, really. I mean, into yourself, and make a sort of assessment about yourself. I want you to make another line, and this line, I'm not going to sure how it's going to work, but hey, if we only do things that we know is going to work, we wouldn't get up in the morning. Okay, I want people who feel very confident in English to go up that end. So let's be confident in English, that end. And really, I'm not sure if I can do it, I don't know. Oh, I don't speak a word of it, up here. So, try it and see what we come up with. A line. Facing me if possible. Now, I was going to do something about national to because they've put them on here, so it's spoilt it a bit. So we'll leave that bit out. Okay, the one, yes, leave this line alone. Make sure you are facing somebody. You need to be facing somebody. Everybody needs to be facing somebody. Oh yes, there you go. Look, you've got a little friend. Hey, face somebody, face somebody. Look them in the eyes. Hey, who are they? Face somebody, face somebody. Now make sure that you're facing somebody. Right, hands across this divide. Everybody's got to be touching the person they're facing after me. Go across, touch somebody, touch somebody, touch somebody, touch somebody. Yeah. Come on, come on, quick, touch. What is that you now have a buddy, a friend, someone in this group whose English is better than yours. Someone that if you're having a difficulty, you can say, and the other person will say, I don't know. But they will say it in perfect English. That is the point. Okay. One of the things that happens when we're anxious is that our memory goes. So we ask people to come into these new houses and remember all these things. There's the bathroom, but they can't because they are new. So all I'm asking you to do is to remember the name of your buddy. Okay, that's all you have to do. If you need to find your buddy, shout your buddy's name and no one will be cross with you. They'll think it's great. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make a line about TC experience. That is how much experience you have got in a TC. Okay. So people for whom the concept of therapeutic community, community as method, mutual self-help, you see, it's not just us that are training you, you are training each other. That is what happens in a therapeutic community. Mutual self-help. Why did I say that? I don't know. But, back to the topic in hand, we need a line. People who think they have a really good understanding, maybe you've been in a TC from your own recovery journey, maybe you work in a TC, you would be up there. Or maybe you're just interested in TCs. Maybe you're a social worker interested in TCs, but you've never been to one. All these things. Maybe you're thinking of starting a TC, but don't know very much about it. You're coming down this end. Say, if you're a student and you've never had anything to do with TCs, you might be up here. But by the end of this time, you will be galloping along to work in a TC when you have finished studying. So, a line facing me, because I'll be over there. Okay. Oh look, we've been talking and you've done it. Do you know what? Practice almost makes perfect. So up here we have our TC experience. People who feel that they understand. But happily, also joyously, are prepared to come along and learn more. That is so important. Because the minute you start wanting to learn, go and drive a bus. So we have people who know lots, but they're coming along to 2 days to learn more, to extend their learning, to extend their understanding. And we've got people here, bless you, my friends, bless you, who have opened yourself up to a terrifying new experience, not knowing very much about it. We hope that we look after you well. Okay. Now, the next thing I want you to do is, oh yes, I do. It's not a test, but it would be interesting. I want you to get back into that line with your buddy and see if you can remember roughly, give or take a few feet, where you were in the line. Okay? Lengthen the line, come on! We mustn't forget it when we're sitting in groups. Always remember that people need their own personal space. Some people need that much, you know, what we call that, and other people don't need very much, but we respect it. Now you've got your buddy back. This is a bit more taxing, and you may need help with the language aspect of this. There's a man that keeps following me around.
With a camera.
With a camera, yes. I'm not paranoid. They are after me. Now, what you want to do just now is to go and talk to your buddy. No, we haven't got very long. So try and focus. Try and focus the mind on one question that you have about the therapeutic community, that you came here in the hope and the expectation of having some answers. Right. Now, I know it's not as simple as one question, so please don't say, "Oh, I got thousands of questions." But just condense it, make it small. One question, and share that question with your buddy and reciprocate. Okay. Off you go.
How to start this aneurism. Yeah, I'm trying.
If it works. Should I answer?
I don't know if you...
Hey, people! All hands on deck! Right, thank you. One clarification. Please remember your buddy's question. I'll give you another minute just to make sure you've got that. I want you to remember your buddy's question, your friend's question. Remember it, please. So you might want to go back and just... Lovely. Very good. Now you now have a question from yourself, from your own doubts and fears, your thirst for knowledge, and you have a question from somebody else. So we have two minds and internal worlds mixing. Okay, what I'd like you to do now, and we're getting to the end of this section. Some of you are looking a bit anxious. I see a few mobile phones coming out and stuff like that. We're nearly there. Fear not. And then Mr. Yates is coming out. He'll sort you out. Okay, so you've done so well. Good job. So can we make a circle, a standing up circle, please, again? So this end comes to this end. Lovely. Lovely. Thank you so much. You've been so good. Now, this chair is only here for a prop, mainly for me. But what I want, but it also gives us a sort of focus. And it's important to have a focus, isn't it? It's always important to have a focus. The primary focus of a therapeutic community. But that includes so many tasks. But now we have a chair and it's a bit of a focus for us, and that's what it's there for. So what I want you to do, and I don't expect everybody to do this because there's supposed to be 65 of you, but I don't think there are. But if 65 people did this, we might as well, we'll be here till Friday. But what I want you to do is some folk come forward, stand around near the chair, just so you have some focus. And if you know, if you're looking ahead a bit, you'll get that I'm trying to make another circle here, but hey, that's giving the game away. I want you to come and just state very simply your friend, your buddy's question. Not yours, your friend's question. I don't want the answer that I heard you were all giving each other. I don't want the answers, I just want the question. So off you go. Oh, Paula. Your buddy's question.
Yes, this is Nikolai's question. He would like to understand maybe the differences or the similarities between a therapeutic community and a 12-step program. The different views and partly the same views.
Wow, brilliant. Great. Anybody else remember their buddy's question? The lovely Alexandra.
Oh yeah, great.
So Petra would like to know how to start a therapeutic program, a therapeutic community inside the prison.
Well, and Rudy.
My friend Marcelo, he wants to know how you can decrease dropout in the therapeutic community.
Whoa. Okay.
Okay, my friend Avi wants to know how to make TC more modern.
Pablo was concerned about the history of Synonym and if it really was the first therapeutic community.
Wow.
My buddy Despina wants to know what makes a therapeutic community so effective.
My friend Rafi wants to know the 3 most important steps that make people change.
Hello. My friend Luca, he wants to learn more about the different challenges that the residents has in the therapeutic communities.
The different challenges the residents, the students have in the therapeutic community.
My friend asked about how can people come to a therapeutic community and get rid of all his stuff or her stuff, be alone with nothing. How can he manage to not take with him anything?
Oh, thank you. Gunnar's buddy would like to know how can a student or resident come to a therapeutic community with nothing and start his or her therapeutic journey. Good question. Sanctuary, the therapeutic community, creates a safe place for people to start their journey, and we will find out how it does it. But always remember, community is method. Anja.
Lilia, she asked how you manage as a new staff member, how you put the button off, because working in a TC is in the beginning very overwhelming, and so you can't stop thinking about it when you get home.
Oh, what a lovely question. Denise.
My buddy asked why, if I liked the profession in a TC and why.
What draws us to the TC? What repulses us from other things? What is the to and the fro? The dynamic.
My friend's question is about how, when start a new TC, when it's needed to start a new TC.
Right, a whole bunch of questions, and I hope that we will address all of them in various ways through the day. So keep your ears open, your minds open, and so I want you all to step back anywhere into the circle. And in a circle, we are now a community of people thinking and discovering and trying to find out about the therapeutic community. Thank you.
A recap of this morning. the first series of exercises, what Kathleen did is she demonstrated some of the basic assumptions of therapeutic community to you. One of the basic assumptions is that we always focus on participation rather than being a spectator. So anytime we can do something where everyone is involved, that fosters community. Second thing that it demonstrated, when you were divided up in buddies, was one person more important than the other? No, right? So in the therapeutic community, the emphasis is on personal authority rather than vested authority. So personal authority is something that we can all earn. Personal authority, if I go work in a prison, I don't introduce myself. Hi, my name is Naya, and I'm going to be the director of your project, blah, blah, blah. I'll introduce myself by my name. And then I have to earn my own respect, and I have to earn authority with the people that are there in the prison. And I have different ways of doing that. I may go sit out on the yard. I might go talk to the men serving 30 years or longer. I may introduce some of the officers in a different way to some of the people that are incarcerated, and so forth and so on. But when you're when you're divided up as buddies, and you're getting to know each other, it's on the basis of who you are as a person. You didn't start by saying, you started by saying your names when you were shaking hand. You didn't start with saying your title. In other words, you didn't say, I'm a rather important director of da-da-da-da-da, and I teach such and such classes. Oh, and by the way, comma, my name is Susan. You started with your names. And in the therapeutic community, so many people have been objectified and ostracized and left out and traumatized that it's so important that people are known by their names and that their names are important. You then, in the course of all of those exercises, you were relating to each other in terms of the roles that you were playing, organizing yourself in the room, again, not by titles. So in the TC, the emphasis, there are many, many basic assumptions, but the emphasis is on participation, the emphasis is on personal authority, the emphasis is on roles and jobs, not just jobs, and the emphasis is on proprietorship, not just welfare mentality. And everybody in the room hopped in, became participants, and became proprietors of the process. You said, okay, well, I'll here, no, wait a minute, I'm going to be here. And then Kathleen helped provide a frame and said, oh, no, we can't have the big squish in the middle. That's what happens in all societies. The middle gets squished. And she kept giving you analogies and some touchstones to relate it to. So I wanted you to just think about that, because there are many ways of fostering participation and role development and proprietorship. And the form can change as long as the essence is there, okay? Then, after moving around a bit, getting to know each other a bit, then Rowdy came and he gave you an outline and another frame in terms of balance and structure, and floor work, and the important elements of each day, okay? So, that's the snapshot.